Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode number 76 of the Driftless Knitting podcast. Can't even say the name of my podcast. Excuse me. It is Sunday, February 23rd. It is about 10:15 in the morning, and I am coming to you from Wisconsin, from just outside of Madison, and it is a kind of chilly, gross, wet day today. We had, like I said in my last podcast, we've been having the craziest weather lately. This week, I actually got to work a full week. I didn't stay home or work a half day at all, which I think that was the first time in almost a month, maybe, where we didn't have like a weird weather day. I mean, it was snowy, don't get me wrong. We had snow, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and we weren't, oh yeah, it was Tuesday night because we weren't sure if we were going to have a snow day the next day, but we all made it in. And then yesterday it was raining and freezing. And then last night we had thunder, in February, which is crazy. And then the rain and sleet turned to snow overnight, and then this morning we're getting more like sleet sort of stuff. I don't know, it's so insane. And yeah, we probably have another month of this. It doesn't really become spring here until about April, and even then we have the chance of snow until maybe May. So oh God, the knitting is getting me through. Maybe I've gone crazy already. I don't really know. So I'm on my second cup of coffee. I'm coming to you from a different place, as you can see. I don't know, I decided that this corner just seemed really cozy, and I don't have a really great space for podcasting here in this apartment. In my last apartment, I had an extra bedroom where I had my desk and all my yarn in there, and here we just have we just have an upstairs loft where our bedroom is, and then it's just like one big great room, so there isn't really separate spaces for things. My yarn is in our walk-in closet, which is really nice. We have a really big closet upstairs, but it's in that closet kind of in bins and stuff, and I don't have my own kind of separate creative space. So that's why, since we've lived here, we moved about a year and a half ago, I've kind of podcasted in a lot of different places, trying to find a good spot that just felt cozy and where I could, just kind of be comfortable. And I don't know, I just decided to kind of camp out here on the floor in front of my quilt stand. These are some beautiful quilts that my Oma made. She is a wonderful, wonderful maker. She's kind of incredible. She's the one who taught me how to knit. She taught me how to cross stitch when I was little. That was the first craft I did. Taught me how to sew on the sewing machine. She does everything. She quilts, she sews, crochets, knits, cross stitches, embroiders. Yeah, she does it all. So this is a, what are these called? A Sunbonnet Sue, I think. Sunbonnet Sue, and then there's a couple here, right here is a Sunbonnet Sam, the little boy. And she made this quilt out of old feed sacks that she got, I forget where she got them, back in Illinois, where we all used to live. That's where I'm from, that's where my family is from, but we've all kind of migrated into Wisconsin. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, so she made this for me. I was in middle school, I think. It's a twin size quilt, and I had it on my bed for a while when I was younger, and then I realized how special it was. And she did all of the hand stitching around here. This is machine knit and machine quilted, or no, it might be hand quilted too, but this for sure I know is all hand done. And this is like a treasure I mean, literally it's a treasure. And especially she's still with us, thank goodness, but someday I'm just gonna, it's just gonna be an heirloom. And then this one she made me too because I told her that I liked this. It has like leaves and stuff. It's a very autumnal quilt, and so she made that one. And then there's a quilt behind this autumnal one that she gave Seaver and my husband and I, for our wedding. So that's behind there. So yeah, it's just feels very cozy with my Oma's quilts here, and I thought this would be a good place to record an episode today. It is Sunday, which isn't my normal recording day, but I do have to work tomorrow on Monday, which is my normal second day off, so I thought I'd get it done this morning. And I am wearing, I don't know if you can really see it too well, but I'm wearing my Whispering Pine shawl that was designed by Molly of Homespun House, and I knit this a couple years ago. I knit this out of the Plucky Knitter. It's a sock weight. I think it's an 80/20 sock weight, and it's called the Big Woods. This was part of a kit, so I don't think this is a regular colorway. It was part of a Laura Ingalls Wilder inspired kit that my friend got me for my birthday many years ago, probably about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful yarn. I really like this shawl. I don't wear it too often. It's kind of a smaller shawlette, and I don't wear smaller shawlettes when I'm gonna be like working. So I try and save those for when I'm just kind of hanging out, or you know, not moving around quite as much as I am when I'm at work. So yeah, so I threw this on today, and yeah, it's light enough that I can wear it here in the house, and cozy enough that it kind of takes the edge out of the chilly air. So anyway, that's what I'm wearing, and yeah, I think that's about it for my intro. 7 minutes in, and I've just sort of babbled, but that's okay. Let's get into a work in progress. This is, ooh, I zippered over my yarn. Thank goodness it's just the end. So this one I showed you last week. I made a little bit more progress on it, enough that I thought it kind of warranted showing to you again. It's in my Mountain State Stitches bag from Jenny, and my book inspired bag, which I love because I am a book nerd. But that's okay, I think a lot of us are. A lot of knitters are also book lovers. So this is my Find Your Fade. And I know I kind of showed this all in its glory last time, not last week. But I did get, ooh, there's a hair on there. I did get a little bit more work done on it. I think last time I had just started this, what is this, the 5th color? Yes, this 5th color, and since then I have completed the lace section of that color. It's a little bit brighter than I thought it was going to be, honestly. This like bright blue stood out a lot more than I thought. But that's okay, I don't care. The rest of my colors are a little bit more muted, as you can see, but it's so long I can't even, my arm span doesn't go quite that far. But yeah, it's the brightest of all the colors I've put in there so far. And then the one that I'm doing after that, which I have changed my mind since last time I told you I was going to do that, it's muted again. It's even more, so it's kind of going from like muted pop of color and then muted again. But that's okay. So I was just kind of, I don't know why I thought of this, but I was kind of looking at my stash and saw this sock blank, another sock blank. This is the one that I'm knitting off of right now. I've gotten through quite a bit of it, and I think I'm going to end before it starts changing to this dark blue, which is good. I kind of wanted to use up the bright end of it. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with, you know, a third of a sock blank, but I'll figure it out. I'm creative. So I had another sock blank in my stash, and this one was dyed by my good friend Lisa of Abacus Dye Works. And this one, she dyed, it doesn't really have a colorway. She dyes most of her things kind of a one and done type of thing. And so she puts the dates on the tag instead of the sock blank. Or, oh my god, you guys. She puts the dates on the tag instead of the colorway name, because a lot of them just don't have colorway names. So I got this. This was labeled as April 11th, 2017. So it's almost 2 years old, as it is now February of 2019. But yeah, this is, I love just this earthy kind of blue undertones, that earthy brown, and then those pops of orange. You can see the color's a little bit better there. And I know the tag says Three Sisters Fiber Company, but if you've been watching for a while, you know that Lisa, I talk about Lisa's yarn a lot because I love it, but Lisa changed, she rebranded and changed her name to Abacus Dye Works. So yeah, so I think that even though this is a little more muted than the last color, it pulls out the oranges, those like, because this has pops of red and bright orange through it, and then this one's just gonna kind of tone it down again, I think. So yeah, I'm excited with that choice. I was excited when I remembered I had that and thought that it would go, you know, pretty well with this one that I'm knitting on right now. So I have been working on something else for most of the week, most of these last 2 weeks. So I didn't get too far on that, but I've been itching to make progress. I can almost like see the finish line. And because this has been on the needles for like 2.5 years, I want to have it done. I want to clear those needles. I want to feel that sense of accomplishment for getting a like long work in progress off the needles. It feels so good when you do that, and yeah, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I've just been craving knitting on that. I let myself knit like 4 rows yesterday. They do take a long time, so that was like a half hour of knitting. So I sat down, I kind of let myself do that for a little while before going back to this next project that I'll show you. And the reason why I'm pushing myself on this one is because it is kind of it has a slight deadline to it. It's a sample for Knit Circus Yarns, which is where I work. And yeah, me and one of my coworkers are both doing samples of this sweater so that we can put kits in our shop and offer it as a, you know, project pack. So the Fern and Feather sweater is by Jennifer Steingass, and it's a beautiful yoked sweater. And we had the idea, I should say it was the owner, Jala, and Bug, I think, who is my coworker. That's her nickname, that's not her real name, but we all call her Bug. So they were kind of talking about how they thought it would be really pretty to do one of our gradients as the complement color on the color work. So we dyed up some yarn, and oh my gosh, seeing that on camera is really cool. That's gorgeous. So they said that if I was willing to knit this sample, they would use it for photographs and for, like, you know, website listing and stuff like that, and, you know, kind of as a sample for a little while, but then I would get to keep it eventually. So I got to pick my favorite color, which of course is blue, and we have this gorgeous chromatic gradient that goes from that kind of brighter, like, I don't know, what you call that, more of a primary blue, down to that dark navy. And I didn't even use up the 75, we did a 75 gram gradient, and I didn't even use up the last darkest color. So if somebody is doing a larger size, you know, it would work for that, but it's still, you can still see the gradient there. And yeah, so I wanted to do this blue, and then we thought this gray, which is called Chimney Sweep. Oh, the blue gradient is called Blue Neek. And the gray is Chimney Sweep. We thought those went really well together. And yeah, as you can see, I am done with the body, and I am done with one sleeve, and I have one more sleeve to go. So I put on my Instagram stories yesterday, let me just sort of lean that against my body, that as I was knitting the sleeve, I was kind of concerned about my gauge. I checked my gauge a couple of times, and I'm actually like on the small side. And I'm like, okay, then I should be fine, but the sleeve was looking so long. I get done with all the decreases, and I measure it again, and I'm 3 inches longer than what I should be. Like, it says do all these decreases and then knit until it reaches, I think, 16 inches. I was already at 19 inches, and I just finished the decreases. So I honestly don't know what I did wrong, because like I said, my gauge is small. So if someone was to be on gauge, I have no idea how they could get the right measurement. So I ripped back to the last, because you do a decrease and then you knit a few rows. So I ripped back, which gave me about maybe 1.5 inches to do the cuff. So I didn't do the full, you're supposed to do like 2 inches of the cuff, and I only did maybe just over 1 inch, I would say. And that already is longer than like it should be. Like altogether, the 16 inches plus 2 inches of cuff, you know, your finished sleeve measurement should be about 18. Mine is 18 3/4. So I have no idea what I did. And I'm not sure if anybody else has had gauge issues with this, and I don't know if it's because of the yarn I'm using, but like I said, my gauge, like I checked and I measured, and it's smaller than it should be. I don't know, I'm so confused. So I'm just gonna make it work. It's just gonna work. And I'm gonna finish it, and it's gonna be lovely and gorgeous, and yeah, it's gonna be great. So I didn't start, well, I just finished that last night, but I can't quite start on the second sleeve yet, because I only had 4 balls of yarn of the main color, and I don't have enough to finish the second sleeve. So I have to get another one from Knit Circus tomorrow. But after that, I should be able to finish that fairly quickly. I really, really want to have this done by the end of next week, which I don't know, because there's something going on Friday at the store, at the Knit Circus store, and I really want to wear it. So we'll see if I can get the sleeve done, and then I might just I'm not going to do a full block, because this is 100% washable merino worsted weight, and I feel like if I soaked this sweater and, you know, laid it flat to dry, it's gonna grow quite a bit. So I'm gonna do a kind of a half block. I want to block this out really well to get my stitches to lay nicely, because this is color work, and it, you know, even the best color work is slightly lumpy before you block it. So I'm gonna like dampen that really well and get that to lay flat. And then otherwise, I just kind of want to, maybe I'll do like a spritz bottle and just sort of not stretch it, but sort of like flatten it a bit and make sure all those stitches look really nice. And I think that should do me for right now. That should get me, you know, the measurements that I need. Also, this is my first colorwork yoke. I'm so excited, and I loved knitting it. It was so addicting, and I just have to tell you, look at those floats. I'm so proud of myself. I've had a couple instances in the past where my colorwork has been super tight, and I worked pretty hard to get a really good tension on that color work. And I have to thank Grace of Babel's Traveling Yarns podcast and she is Vanna Willowmeal on Instagram. She posted a little like mini tutorial on her Instagram about how to pick up your floats as you're knitting so you're not actually physically twisting the yarn, which I never took a colorwork class or anything. I just sort of knew the theory behind colorwork and just did it. So I didn't know the proper way to do really any of these things, and how best it, you know, to hold your yarn and to catch your floats and all that stuff. So my tension was always really kind of wonky and unbalanced, and my floats were really tight. Yeah, it just wasn't, I don't know. I was just sort of getting by with my color work, and not really, I wasn't really proud of it. I was just sort of doing it. And she posted that photo or that video about catching floats, and then I figured out the best way for me to tension my yarn, because I am a picker, so I don't use my right hand, and I feel like my tension would have been really off if I had tried to use my right hand, my right and my left, while I was doing color work. So I found a way that worked for me to hold both strands in my left hand, and then just, you know, kind of go around. You have to watch her video. I can't really explain it in words. It's better to see it, but you sort of just like, you know, pick up one and then you go the other way to pick up the other, and then you pick up, yeah, it worked really well. So, and most of you probably already know that technique, but I wasn't a very big colorwork knitter. I'd only done a little bit, and like I said, I was just doing it my own way, having never been taught. So this worked out really well. I can see more colorwork yokes and sweaters in my future. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. This turned out really well. So yeah, and did I tell you what yarn it was? I think I did. I mean, you know, it's Knit Circus, but this is our worsted weight base, which is called Ringmaster, and it's one of our gradients, and then our semi-solid. So I can't wait to show you what this looks like when it's finished. Hopefully I'll be able to wear it Friday. If I get that yarn tomorrow. It took me only 2 days to knit that last sleeve, so, and that's all I have to do. There's no finishing besides weaving in ends and then blocking. So cross your fingers for me, guys. Okay, okay. I was gonna say I didn't have any finished objects, but that was, well, it wasn't really a lie, because last week I talked about a finished object that I had that I really couldn't show you yet, but I can show you now. Well, I don't have it here, but I can talk about it at least. I designed a new pattern that was featuring Knit Circus Yarns gradient, again, the Ringmaster base, the worsted weight base, and they are releasing the kits for that this coming Friday, which is the 1st of March, and I published it on Ravelry last Friday. So it is available on Ravelry right now, and you can buy the yarn on the Knit Circus website, but we're just like featuring it and putting it together as like a pack for our next newsletter. So it is called Cowl, and I named this pattern after the manor. It wasn't really a manor house. I mean, today we would have considered it quite a large house, but they considered it a cottage. So Chawton Cottage, or Chawton House, that Jane Austen lived in for the second half of her life, really. She was an adult there. She lived with her sister and her mother in that house after her father died. And it's where she revised a lot of her novels, a couple of her novels, some of our favorites, and she wrote a couple others there. So yeah, it was knit in a colorway called the Miss Bennet's, which was based on Pride and Prejudice, and I just thought it would be fun to kind of carry on that theme to the cowl as well, to the cowl name. So it's called the Chawton Cowl, and I will post a picture here. And I am so grateful to Knit Circus because we have a tech editor and a pattern like writer. She puts together the patterns. She took my handwritten pattern and she made it beautiful, and then she took the sample and she took photos of it on our lovely model April. April models for Knit Circus quite a bit. If you go on our website or our Instagram, you'll see a lot of pictures of April. She comes in, she works with us, and then she comes in and does modeling for us as well. So I'm really grateful to Elizabeth, the photographer, and April, the model, for taking lovely photos of the Chot and Cowl, because I would have probably taken like selfies of it on my phone, and they took very professional photographs. So thank you for that. And I'm just really excited for everyone to see it now. It was kind of a very quick, I just wanted to knit something with that yarn and that eyelet kind of motif. It's not really lace, it's more of like columns of eyelets and a really cool decrease. Anyway, you'll have seen it on the photo. I just, that kind of popped in my head. I played around with that and then played around with a lightly textured body of the cowl, which is less obvious in the photographs, but it does have some sort of pearl stitches thrown in there in the stockinette body. And yeah, it just sort of happened. And then I brought it in and I said, you know, I just knit this. I just came up with this sort of cowl, and you know, would we like to, should I write up the pattern and would we like to feature it? And they were like, yeah, of course. So yeah, so it was really fun and slightly unexpected. I wasn't planning that one out. So yeah. But anyway, if you are interested in knitting that, it only takes 100 grams of worsted weight. It probably took me about 170 yards to knit that. I would guess, I didn't weigh what I had left, but I did have a little nugget of yarn left over. And our worsted weight skeins come in 185 yards. So I'm guessing about 170 is what it took. And yeah, you can knit it out of a variegated or a speckle or a solid or a gradient, and I'm sure it will look great in any of those yarns. But so thank you all for going on to Ravelry if you do, and looking at that. And yeah, I have a few other ideas. I can't wait to get this sweater done, and then I have another one that I have to knit. And then I have a couple other designs that are in my head that I really, really want to get down. So yeah, I'm just going to be knitting as much as I can over the next couple weeks. So the one that I kind of alluded just now to another sweater that I'm going to be knitting. This is another sample. It's not for Knit Circus, it is for Yarnology, which is the yarn shop that I used to work at, and I knit samples for them every so often, especially when they're kind of crunched for time, or you know, everyone else there is too busy to knit a sample. My good friend Kelly, who is one of the owners, she messages me and asks if I can knit something for them. So might be a little glary, but I am going to be starting the Carbeth Cardigan, and this is by Kate Davies. I'm sure you're all very familiar. And I'm knitting this out of, I didn't get to choose the color, but I love the color. This is, oh, there you go. It's like a dark burgundy red. It's showing up a little more bright with the light shining on it, but it's that beautiful tweed. This is Erin Moore by, oh my gosh, I just blanked. The Fiber Company, of course. And this is an Erin, let me just crinkle that a little bit more for you. This is an Erin weight yarn, a tweed obviously, and I didn't even look at what the color was named. Ruar, R-U-A-R-L. Ruarl. I can't say that very well. But, sorry, glary again. But there's the tag, the Fiber Company, Aaron Moore. And I'm excited to knit with this. I've knit with Aaron Moore Light, which is a DK weight, but I've never knit with Aaron Moore. And I think this is just gonna fly. I have 4 skeins here, so I hope that's enough. I'm not sure what size they want me to make. I'll have to message Kelly and ask, but I guess I could look at yardage and see how much they gave me and yeah, how much each size takes. But yeah, I'm excited to get that done. I hope to get that done by the end of March. I should be able to cast this, my other sweater, my Fern and Feather, off this week, like I said, and then start this. And yeah, I think because of the weight of it, and it's not super complicated, just stockinette stitch, a little bit of shaping, things like that, I should be able to get that done in a few weeks. Wish me luck. But I'm excited. I'm excited because I've never knit a Kate Davies sweater, or design, even though I have a bunch of them in both my library on Ravelry and my favorites on Ravelry. She's got some beautiful patterns. So I'm excited to try that out. And I'm gonna take another sip of coffee before it goes cold. So good. Okay, so I do have a couple acquisitions. Since I just talked about Yarnology sending me yarn, they also, on my request, and of course I bought it, they also included the newest edition of Lane magazine. I'm so excited. So I have been looking at the patterns that are in this magazine for a while. They kind of post like previews on, oh my gosh, on Ravelry, and so you can kind of look and see, you know, what patterns are going to be in the book. But there's a couple in here that I hadn't seen on Ravelry, and I was pleasantly surprised. Oh, but look at that. I swear half the reason that I get this magazine is to just look at the pictures. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I haven't really paged through this very much. My box of yarn just came a couple days ago, and I haven't really had a lot of time to go through this. So besides just looking at, you know, the patterns, kind of skipping over and seeing the pattern photos, but there's a beautiful vest in here, some beautiful sweaters. Now that I am into colorwork, guys, I am a colorwork sweater knitter officially now. That's gorgeous. I can knit that. I need to get into brioche a little more. I've done it like once on a little, like, tiny little section of a shawl. I did some brioche, so I actually need to learn better. There's an awesome article. There's a couple really good interviews and articles. I'm really excited to read the one about woolly mammoth fiber. She's a natural dyer in Northern Ireland, I believe, and she has a beautiful podcast as well. I love her aesthetic, and she's so sweet, and I could honestly listen to her talk, yeah, all day. She's got a beautiful voice and beautiful accent. And then another one I'm really excited about that is knit in woolly mammoth fiber is, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, but it's Neria. This is by Lerga, who has the, what's her podcast? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna blank. I just watched her newest episode yesterday. Fibertails. She has the Fibertails podcast, and she has some beautiful designs that have been published lately. And this is her latest sweater design. And I think this is the first time she's been in a publication. She has some other designs up on Ravelry that are gorgeous. But I really like that sweater. There's some shawls. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. And then of course they do fun things like they talk about a city. This time it's London. They kind of give you recommendations if you're going there, and beautiful photos, and yeah, It's so beautiful. Look, okay, this is another one that I'm really excited about. Look at that shawl. It's so different. So interesting. Beautiful. So anyway, if you are able to get a hold of one of these, you should do it. You definitely should do it. I have all 7 of them, and I can't really ever see myself passing one up, honestly. It's a collection that I think is going to be really worth having. So, really excited about getting that. And then the other thing that I got since the last podcast, I had actually purchased this probably a month or so ago. Well, maybe not. I can't really remember. So I was watching Molly of A Homespun House, her Instagram stories, and she announced that she was going to do a one-off mystery club based on The Long Winter, which is the 5th book, I believe. 5th book? Not including Farmer Boy, of Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I love Laura Ingalls Wilder. I love her children's books, and then I love learning about the history of her life, you know, truly, because while the books are based on her life, they're not 100% correct. And there's a lot of complicated politics that, yeah, that happened during her lifetime and while writing the books, and it's kind of a fascinating story, but I still love anything to do with Laura and her books. So I signed up immediately. I also have the club that Molly did based on the Banks of Plum Creek, which is one of the earlier books, so I knew I had to get The Long Winter. And Molly, I hope you're going to keep going and do all the books eventually, because I will collect them all. And I chose to get the sock set. She had options for a 1 skein sock yarn, a sock set, so a skein of sock yarn with a mini, and a set of mini skeins. And I chose the sock set. Again, I thought I'd be consistent with what I got for the On the Banks of Plum Creek set. And it came, I think, last week. So this is the set, and it reminds me a lot of the cover of the book. So it's, you know, the cover is, I don't have a copy of it here. I was gonna grab the copy to kind of show, you know, what the cover looked like versus the yarn, but I don't have that one here. It's at my mom's house, where a lot of my stuff that we don't have room for in this little apartment is still sort of being housed there. But yeah, it's kind of a pale purple. The dresses that they're wearing are like blues and purples, and obviously there's snow on the picture of the cover of it. So then you can see the tag, or maybe you can't because it's very glary, but it says The Long Winter. It's an 80/20 sock yarn, and her base, her 80/20 is called Plump Merino. So yeah, I am very excited to have this. I cannot wait to knit with both of these. I can't wait to knit with all of my stash, honestly. Okay, so I think that's about it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for giving my podcast a chance. I really, really appreciate it. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. And if you're not quite sure yet, then just give it maybe a thumbs up if you did enjoy the episode. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. You know how much I appreciate each and every one of you, and yeah, how much I look forward to coming back and talking. I'm really glad I was able to squeeze in an episode this morning, and yeah, I'm just hoping that life has calmed down enough where I can get an episode out every 2 weeks. It just feels good to sit down and kind of go through what's going on in my knitting life, to chat to people who understand, love, and appreciate what I do in this craft. It's so nice to be connected to a group of people that share my passion. And yeah, and I hope you all know how special you are to me, all of my viewers. And yeah, before I get too gushy, I better end it for today. So thank you again for watching. Until next time, hopefully in 2 weeks, cross your fingers. Until next time, do things that make your heart happy, be kind to one another, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.